Thank you. I can't believe I have to follow her. Damn it. All right. I have a company called Vertical World, and what I'm going to kind of challenge to you is think about what it would be like to come up with an idea, thinking outside the box of an idea that has never been done before. Imagine yourself if you're approached by like a capital venture firm or an investor and say, I want you to come up with an idea. It's never been done before. I want you to turn it into a business idea. So what you really have to think about, what are the factors that are going to really influence you and become a success? And my experience has been, there's two things that really drove me. It was either passion or fear. The fear thing was, I had to concentrate on that more, because the fear thing can influence you in many different ways. So I'll give you an example on a bigger scale. In 1929, this country was thrown into a Great Depression. Two companies took two different approaches to get through the Depression. One was Post. They did the traditional method of retraction. They cut back on their payroll. They cut back on their R&D. They cut back on marketing. The other company was Kellogg. And what they did is they amped up their human resources. They put more money into R&D. They put more money into marketing. And they came out with a product called Rice Krispies. 15 years later, these two companies were analyzed and studied, and it showed that Post kind of cruised along. They grew a little bit, not much. Kellogg grew astronomically. That, you have to apply that to this whole concept of coming up with a new idea, because the fear can be crippling. The idea part of it, the passion for it, is pretty easy. You have to have your strategic intent and your strong purpose and execution of that. We all can figure that out. But the fear thing will drive you to think in ways that you're not supposed to think of, like sink the boat, miss the boat, that type of thing. And also gets small business people to think about saving their way into prosperity, which is virtually impossible. I mean, I see that all the time with colleagues of mine. They're tight. They get penny pinching. It doesn't work. That's driven by fear. So what I did back in 1987, I came up with this idea that people would like to come into this shitty little warehouse with glued-on rocks on a wall, and they'd want to climb on it. Well, guess what? Everybody said, you are an idiot. There's no way that's going to work. Nobody's going to want to do that. You don't climb indoors. Well, that was my idea, and that's what it looked like when we started. I did have a secret weapon at the time. His name was Dan Cawthorn. He was a great partner. He came in, and he made this thing work for me. But the thing is, I had to really stick to the passion. There was a lot of reasons that I could have been fearful. It wasn't going to happen. And, you know, we had a lot of problems. There was a lot of these. There's probably a landfill out there with my name on it. I mean, we screwed it up so many times. But I learned to embrace those mistakes. I mean, it cost us a lot of money, and we almost drove us into the ground, but it wasn't going to make us fail. A lot of it has to do with paying your dues, too. A lot of small business owners now, they like to launch businesses. They don't like to grow them. What they do is they say, well, I'm going to throw a bunch of money at it, and I'm going to sit back as an owner and just be an owner of a business. Doesn't work. We spent years behind the counter washing the toilets, doing everything it took to run that business before we actually acted like owners. So I'm going to go back to the fear thing. In 2008, we were confronted with the same problems that all the other businesses in town were confronted with. The economy was going in the tank. So we had to discuss amongst ourselves how we're going to approach this. And what we decided to do is we were going to spend more money on payroll. We spent more money on route setting. We spent more money on marketing. And a lot of businesses were going out of business at that time. So what happened to us is that in 2009, we had the best financial year in the history of the business. We got the results by getting rid of the fear. All I have to say to you is, you know, life is short. Whether you believe you can do it, whether you believe you can't do it, you're right. So just get rid of the fear and go for it. You can do it.